Supermarket wraps are ultra processed, low in fiber, they have a ton of additives. So I went on a mission discovering all the viral wrap recipes online, and that's how I created the Doctor's Kitchen wrap. 4 grams of protein, 4 grams of fiber, and only 3 ingredients. This is the wrap that I make every single week as a medical doctor and a nutritionist. Let me show you how. The base recipe is using an ingredient that everyone should have in their cupboards, oats. I'm going to show you a little bit later on how to personalize it to your own tastes, and you can really have fun with this recipe yourself. 75 grams is going to go into the spice grinder. Now I'm making my oat flour from scratch, but you can buy ready-made oat flour from most stores online, but you can literally make it in 10 seconds. And there you have it. You've got fresh oat flour with no additives, no ingredients, very, very simply made, which is why to keep my shopping simple, I just buy jumbo rolled oats. That way you're getting everything that you want in your oats. Endosperm, bran, the extra fiber, those nutrients that also includes beta glucans. These are very well known and studied to reduce cholesterol, which is why oats are so great for your heart health. It means that oats as part of a mixed meal is actually really healthy for us. This goes in my bowl. Second ingredient that you don't typically find in everyone's kitchen, but I think it deserves a spot, are flax seeds. Now flaxseed, also known as linseed, not only do they have fiber, they also have protein, a lot more than oats, and they have a special chemical called SDG. I still don't know how to pronounce it. It's super impressive when it comes to gut health benefits and inflammation lowering benefits as well. You've noticed that I've taken these out of the fridge because when you mill flaxseed, you increase the surface area and the exposure to oxygen, which can degrade the product, which is why I keep pre-milled flaxseed, which this is, in the fridge to preserve it for longer. So you could quite easily blend your linseed that you keep in the cupboard. That way you've got fresh milled flaxseed, but I just wanted to show you the different variations available to you. I'm going to add 25 grams to this, good pinch of salt. And we're just going to add some water to this, 250 mils. Out of all the recipes that I tried, most of them involved making a dough, spreading out on your counter, getting the rolling pin out. I just want to be able to put everything in a bowl and then just simply mix with my fork. There's no eggs, there's no binder, there's no additive, there is no preservative, there is no flavor enhancer. I'm literally mixing it for about 45 seconds. Mix, 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 mix. And I'm going to leave it for 5 minutes whilst I get my pan searing hot, and I'm going to show you how you can do it on both the cast iron and a non-stick pan. You particularly want your cast iron really nice and hot. That way it creates almost like a non-stick surface. With the non-stick you can go lower if you want, but we've talked about the benefits of switching your materials to cast iron and stainless steel as much as possible. So you have a couple of oils available to you when making wraps. You've got a bit of coconut oil, which has a higher smoke point than olive oil. As we are taking this to quite a high temperature, you might prefer to use a little lick of this. Olive oil is my oil of choice in most circumstances, but for good quality extra virgin olive oil, you might want to save using this one for something that's a lot more stable and where you actually can appreciate the flavor. You can also get these olive oil sprays. Now this one is just olive oil and it's pressurized. It doesn't use a solvent, it doesn't use any other additive, it's just 100% olive oil. With the coconut, I'm going to add a little half teaspoon, very lightly rub the pan, and same thing for this guy here. Now you will notice your cast iron smoke, that's totally fine. Pouring in the middle, I'm just going to push with the back of a spoon, or you can use a spatula, just to move the mixture around. Now this is like a medium sized wrap, so that was on like a medium high heat, it's now on a medium heat, and you'll see the top will turn kind of like a beigey cookie dough type color. And on the cast iron, I'm going to show you something slightly different. It's going to be like mini tacos. So these are going to be like baby wraps, almost like mini whole wheat crepes. And again, I'm going to turn this one right down as well. This is probably going to need about 4 minutes on the first side and then 2 minutes on the other side. This will take around the same amount of time, but you want to be looking for the texture on, and just at the edges, you'll see them flick up slightly, and there's your indication to just do a little flippy. That's the first wrap done. You might find the first time you do it that it disintegrates and it doesn't work. And that's just a function of your pan not being hot enough. It's almost like doing your first pancake. First pancake is always feels a little bit rubbish. And the trick is to make sure your pan is super hot. So don't rush it, and then let it cool down and then do your first wrap. These don't burn easily, so they can take a bit of a beating, but these are just so versatile to have little nuggets of wrap, and you can just dress them up, just super easy to use. I'm just going to slide this onto the rack. It's important to let it cool completely, because if you put this on a flat surface, the heat on the underside will make the bottom soggy. You want it to dry completely and cool down before you start putting them away or storing them in bags. We're going to go in with another one of these larger wraps, and you will notice the mixture will get thicker the more you leave it out. So sometimes it might be worth just adding a splash extra water if you prefer your wraps to be super thin. And it's sort of one of my bugbears about healthy wraps. They almost trick you into thinking that you're eating a really healthy ingredient. And whilst you're not eating much, and they generally have better ingredients in the wraps themselves, the wrap itself could be so much better. The next time you go to the supermarket, turn the wrap packet over and look at the ingredients, and you'll be horrified by how many extra things there are in a wrap that should literally only be 2 or 3 ingredients max. It might feel like a lot of effort all for some wraps, but once you do it a few times, it becomes like second nature and you won't go back to regular wraps. Whilst these are cooking, I'm going to clean this bowl straight away, because the oats will become almost like cement and very hard to clean. So whilst they're still wet, this is the perfect time to clean them. And because these are so robust, you're not going to burn them. Say that as I hand off the bowl to be cleaned by one of the team members. Thank you, team. You'd be really surprised at how foldable and malleable they are without any gluten whatsoever. This is great for folks who are gluten-free or trying to avoid gluten grains, because a lot of the gluten-free flours that you can buy are made of blends of refined flours, and some of them do have additives and flavor enhancers as well. This one is done. So we have a bunch of mini ones, and we have a bunch of wraps as well. You'll see just how malleable these are. You can fold them, you can make them into like a mini burrito. This is what a healthy wrap should look like. But there's so much more we can do with this base recipe. We're gonna elevate it to level 2. This is where things can get really fun and you can start being super experimental. It does require one extra bit of machinery, a bullet blender or food processor, whatever you've got at home that can mash greens and vegetables. All you need to know are the ratios to make the wrap work. So the ratios in the oats and flax are constant, but we're going to add spinach to make these green super wraps. So we're going to use 50 grams of frozen spinach or fresh. This is essentially lots of water, so we're going to subtract the amount of spinach or green leafy vegetable that you want to use. Think chard, rocket, any sort of watery green will work. Instead of using 250 mils, we're going to use 200 mils. I'm going to add this. As a reminder, 75 grams of oats, 25 grams of flax, good pinch of salt, spinach cube. Spinach is going to add extra fiber, vitamin K, folate, beta lutein, some of those polyphenols, those phytonutrients that we know are, again, inflammation reducing. And you know what? I'm feeling a little spicy. We're going to add even more polyphenols to this mix. So we recently did a video on inflammation reducing spices. So I'm going to add some cumin and nigella seeds to this. Nigella is going to give a lovely little aromatic lift, about half a teaspoon of each. Smell that. Oh, this is for all your good work washing the dishes. Whilst I'm up there cooking, you get a sniff. Wow. Usually people let them lick the bowl after you make cookies, but no, you get to smell the spice bowl. So we're going to add these spices to our mix here, and you can use garam masala, you can use turmeric if you like. We're going to pop the blender on. Now at this point, you might decide to add a little bit more water, which I am, just because sometimes when you blend everything together, it just sort of becomes a bit sticky. So I'm going to add a splash of water, and this is where you've got to be a little bit experimental. All right, same thing again. Again, your cast iron will be nice and smoky. Because these have got extra ingredients in, they are going to be a little bit more brittle. So I would always start with level 1 before you move to level 2. So you get used to how the oat and flax mixture kind of operates in the pan. And if you wanted to keep it without the spinach, you can just add spices to this. Think caraway, cumin, black sesame seeds, curry powder, even garam masala would work really well with the base recipe. And now you have your wraps. There's so many different things you can do with them. And it makes lunches, which a lot of people struggle to have ideas for, something super simple to make. My go-to is a hummus and smoked tofu wrap. My lunchtime bento box is even less effort for those on the go. The smaller wraps are like mini tacos. They're great for a vibrant twist on huevos rancheros. The wraps are providing extra protein with the eggs and the black beans. Squeeze a lime and enjoy. So easy to make at the weekend. These are phenomenal. I told you the wraps are versatile. If you struggle with breakfast options when you're on the go, check out these three that I swear by and I make all the time in my kitchen.